It is Friday night. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Friday. You made it. Another week. Woo! Let's get this party started. Who's with me tonight? Anybody with me? There's Jennifer. Jennifer's in the house, and Kitty. How we all doing tonight? Angie is with us. Nebraska's in the house. Kitty's in the house. Lisa, how are you? How's your husband doing, Lisa? I heard that he had to have surgery. I hope all is well with him. The Welties are in the house. Dana's in. Stephanie. Hey, Claire. Hey, Jana. Are you leaving Dennis on the ladder tonight? Hey, Diane. Welcome, Jennifer. Hey, Alexa. Stella, Reno, Nevada. Howdy. Dennis is in the house. Well, he's on a ladder, probably. Karen. Happy Friday. I'm not master. Hey, Rick, how are you? I owe you a call, I'm pretty sure. Hey, Angie, Rick. Joanne's with us in Arizona. Lori! How we all doing tonight? It is so good to have you with us on this Friday night. Adele and Dazzle are in the house. Welcome, welcome. What's everybody grateful for? I have heard that Texas is starting to ease things, Alexa. That is good, I hope. I hope from a health perspective that is good. And that would be good from a business perspective, but ultimately I'm concerned about the health side of things. So I want us all to be healthy businesses, but we can't be healthy businesses if the people aren't healthy. That would be great if you could at least do curbside, Alexa. Nancy's in the house. What are we all grateful for this Friday night? Alexa's grateful that she'll be able to at least do curbside. You will get released too, Lori, I promise you. Corgis, coffee, and cognac. Well, this is the Scotch glasses half full night, not the Scotch glasses half empty night, Kurt. We have depleted our supply of Scotch in the house, so our Scotch reserves are down. So we may have to make a trip to Costco, to the liquor store at Costco, although I'm not sure going to Costco on a Saturday is a good idea. It was okay during the rainstorm, but, well, actually it's supposed to snow tomorrow. We're supposed to get 4 inches of snow overnight. So maybe I can make it to Costco. Hello, Leanne from Atlanta. Jana had a great sales day today. That's awesome. Kitty's enjoying her daughter lately. Isn't it funny how daughters have more time to call us? I got to buy my daughter pizza tonight, and she's not even here. And her boyfriend. Or friend that's a boy. I got to buy pizza tonight. And maybe his roommate. I don't know. I bought pizza, I'm told. Grateful for my staff that is hanging in with me on half pay and helping me move forward. That's awesome, Sarah. Love that. Love that. Hey, Julie Jankowitz. Hey, Dana and Jeff Johnson. Welcome to the program. That's good, Alexa. I'm glad that they're putting lots of health protection requirements in place. We're already prepping in advance of that and giving thought to how we'll do things in a new world. And I really hope to spend some time on that next week. Some of our prepping to reopen, because we'll be over some of the other things that people are stressed over, and we can work on the planning process of reopening is a big topic that we need to cover, and the plans that we'll do to get there. Well, thank you, Rose. I'm glad to be on your grateful list. It's truly an honor to be able to serve in the way that I can serve. So, this is really an honor of mine to be able to help in the way that I'm helping you all right now. Hey, Crystal, how are you tonight? How's things in Colorado? Good to have you here. Good to have you all here tonight. And I'm glad to hear all that you're grateful for. Yes, I'm hoping we're all able to open soon, but it's got to be safe because we don't want to do this again. So as much as I'm rushing and hoping that we can open soon, or hoping we can do curbside pickup soon, or hoping we can do some of these other things soon, ultimately you want this, we want to be safe because we don't want to go through this again. We don't want to relapse. And the, kind of think bounce back hangover. When you get that hangover and then you get, and you don't fully recover from it and then you get a worse hangover, we don't want that to be this. And ultimately, you also have to remember, the 6 degrees of separation here, okay? We all know somebody who, through somebody that has this. 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon is 6 degrees of COVID. We all know somebody who knows somebody who's been directly affected by this, if not 1 or 2 removed, 3 removed, died of it. The stories are out there. I read one that was, a distant business associate today of my father's. There was a businessman in the Boston area. Him and his wife had traditional furniture stores and did their ads for decades together. Him and his wife were on the ads, and he's in his 80s, but he just succumbed to COVID this past week. So there's all these stories of that, and so there are real elements to this and real people. So, and I know we're making choice for lives over livelihood right now, and that's an important thing, and we need to make sure that we're keeping safe moving forward, because otherwise the consumer confidence will also die with this, and we don't want to disrupt consumer confidence. But as you're seeing through some of the online sales, people are getting extra money. People are having extra money and are willing to spend. So I am optimistic still for the future and for future sales growth. So a lot of good things. Dan's cleared to go back to work. Yay! That's awesome. That is going to lift the spirits in your house, Julie. That's going to have everybody excited. Do the happy dance. Happy dance time in Julie's house. That's awesome, Kristen, that you'll have time to use this time to move to your new shop. See, that's the right thing. Planning our way forward in this. This is not easy, but we're planning our way to where we're going to arrive. And that actually will be one of the topics I talk about tonight. So, I think even the dogs will be howling in your house, Julie. Howls of happiness. So, those are good things. Okay, so we are back to our... Hey, the Acostas are with us. Good morning, good night. And that's where we start tonight. And every night after we find out what we're grateful for. So, good morning. Untie just one of those knots in your stomach. Cross one thing off your list. Call one loved one and surprise them with some kindness. Damn, look at all the room you made for something new, kid. That was our good morning tonight. And I look forward to hearing what our good night is. So let's take a look at what's happening in the world today. I have been on the phone so much today, I am not as well, I don't feel as well organized for our nightly call tonight, but I am going to do my part. Here, what do we got first? A letter to Jerome Powell, chairman of the Fed, and Steve Mnuchin. Hey, Chris and Seth, how are you? What are we... So this is just basically, a letter to the head of the Fed and the head of the Treasury telling them to get off their duff and keep these things funding and ease up on the programs to support Main Street retailers, okay? And they're really after a couple of the programs, to help Main Street Lending Program, which is really helping businesses at a higher level, but getting some more money out there into the system, and that's what this is about. And so they are all over our buddy Jerome and Steve, Secretary of the Treasury and Chairman of the Fed, to get their butt in gear. So one of the things I wanted to talk about, somebody sent me this today, and I really liked it. So I'm going to take a moment and read this to you. Okay? And I'm not going to just excerpt this. I'm going to read it quickly because I just think the concept is so important, okay, for what we're doing right now. Hey, Kelly. So your only goal is to arrive. Okay, that is the title of this article. Hang on a second. Where is this starting? Why are my pages? Where am I on this article? It looks like it printed wrong. So the story starts. I'm going to get into the real story. This gentleman was away at work on work, and he had a hellish plane flight getting back with his kids because one of them had an ear infection and cried the whole night before and everything else. He shares this story with his colleague, whose older children had taught her parenting strategies I hadn't yet learned. I also apologize for not working on the project I was supposed to review over the weekend. Don't worry about it, Jen said. When you travel with babies, your only goal is to arrive. I asked her to elaborate. Well, traveling with kids is a whole different thing than traveling by yourself, she said. Forget about napping, reading a book, or checking email. Your only job is to keep the baby safe and as comfortable and quiet as possible. If you show up with your children alive, you've succeeded. I kept this simple and yet profound concept in mind during 100% of our subsequent trips with young children. It didn't make those flights fun per se, but the mantra helped to keep my priorities in line. Last week, as I read an article encouraging people to use the coronavirus quarantine to achieve something extraordinary with their lives, Jen's advice came screaming back to mine. Today's flight, dear friends, is very much delayed, not by hours, but months. Travel conditions are, to put it mildly, suboptimal. Each of us should have in mind only one goal, to arrive on the other side in one piece. Our control now is the time to make sure our expectations are realistic and achievable. Expect delays. Expect crying babies. Expect to sit on the tarmac of human biology for most of the summer, staring out the window at a cloudless sky thinking, why the hell aren't we taking off? The flight crew will run out of peanuts, headphones and Sprite Zero. The toilets will overflow, and as we already know, toilet paper will disappear. Your job is to maintain sanity, stay healthy, and where you can, offer kindness to your fellow flyers. No, this doesn't mean you have to hold someone else's baby for a few months. Only a realistic clarity of mission will keep you above the fray. Your neighbors will freak out, journalists will predict the end of the future, and the children who used to terrorize you on planes will force you to watch High School Musical 2 all over and over. Perhaps most insidious of all, online motivational gurus will preach at you to carpe that diem and use this opportunity to write your novel, reclaim your beach body, or run a marathon in your living room. Melissa, are you listening? Granted, there are a small number of ninjas who could learn calligraphy in a POW camp or write a bestseller in a coach class. But for the rest of us, now is absolutely the wrong time to take on unreasonably ambitious goals when you're trying to hang on to a job or file for unemployment while homeschooling your kids, arranging care for an elderly parent, and bathing only occasionally. You are already operating at a very high level. So forgive yourself for the 3 dinners you had last night, the gray roots, and that goofy home haircut. It's a great time to be bald. Forget the motivational nonsense, and for the love of all things self-preserving, turn off the gosh darn news. Here, I'll summarize it for you. Things are bad. They're going to stay bad for a bit. We'll text you whenever it's over. In the meantime, relax. Now, I don't advocate numbing yourself until August, but if you need a glass of Chardonnay, or scotch, or a cognac, a half pint of Chunky Monkey, or a full season of Tiger King to get you through, go for it. Just make sure these remain a treat and not your baseline or breakfast. There are undeniable superheroes out there right now. Doctors, nurses, the workers, 8 hours of sleep. Meditate, stretch, take a walk while keeping your distance. Secure your own mask before securing the mask of your child, literally. If you got that covered, look for ways to brighten someone else's day. Write a thank you note to the mail carrier. Leave the sanitation workers Gatorade and some antibacterial wipes. If you have an extra few bucks, donate to the local food bank. But please don't beat yourself up about not using the quarantine to live your best life or start a real estate business in your pajamas. When the plane finally lands, no one around you is going to remember if you finished the book proposal, and they'll care about all they'll care about is whether you maintained your cool and kept your child from puking all over their chinos. Take it from the insecure workaholic who has for too long equated self-worth with productivity. It's not about what you get done right now. This journey is going to be arduous. Anything you accomplish beyond making it through in one piece is gravy. You know what'll be exceptional? Surviving and arriving. That's right, people. We need to arrive on the other side. We arrive on the other side, that'll give us the opportunity to thrive. So keep that in mind. Okay, a lot of talk today was around statistics, numbers, Paycheck Protection Program statistics of who got money and who didn't, and don't be upset about who did and who didn't right now, and what states got more money, and who applied faster, and what banks moved faster, and what banks didn't. You know, we have to worry about what you can control. You can't control the bigger... Oops, I'm dropping things. What you can control, what is within your span of control. That is how you move forward in all of this, is worry about what you can control. For some of you, that'll be making cookies in the flower cabinet. For others of you, there are other things that'll be pricing a rack of clothes so you have control over what got done today. It's all okay. For some of you, it's out gardening right now. It's what's in your span of control. Don't get bogged down in these stats. The media will always find you something negative. They will find somebody that should be a poster child of what's bad. They're not bad. You know, they're out there running ultimately small stores, small restaurants that employ 10, 20 people. Yes, their corporate structure may be better. They may have better lawyers than you. They may have better accountants than you that are creative and set things up so they can take advantage of things. But they are just people in your community, ultimately people in your community working. And the whole paycheck program is about putting people back to work. And there's an awful lot of people out of work, more than, this is historic how many people are out of work. And so all of this is about putting people back to work. Ultimately, no, Kelly, you are not underachieving anything. Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. And you are still on my call list. You put yourself down on the lower end of it, but you are still on my call list. You are not underachieving. We are all in this together. We are all going to get to the other side. We need to all arrive on the other side. And that's my goal for this, is to have us all arrive. So we need to talk about the payroll protection program again, because that's still a topic. And we need to talk about the EIDL, because that's still a topic and concern and fear for many. And the biggest way to dispel fears is with facts. So, facts. The PPP is out of money. Reality, you should still be applying for it. If you haven't already applied for the PPP, you should be, because that program will open back up. Congress will get out of the way probably early next week on that. There is no one that thinks that will not get replenished. The issue with it is what other things are going to get tacked onto it. Likely something for hospitals, likely a specific segment for minority type businesses, or minority neighborhoods. There's going to be some targeting with it, and there's going to be some other money with it but ultimately this is a first come first serve loan program and guarantee program, so you want to get in it and you want to have your application in. If you do not have your application in, get it into your bank, have it all ready. The checklists are available at narts.org/resalestrong. It has everything there for you that they're going to ask you. The online lenders are still taking applications, so PayPal is taking it, Square is taking it, if your bank is not, Cabbage is taking it, and Intuit QuickBooks, they're still taking applications because they fully expect this will get refunded, and it will. It absolutely will. I will share that, I've shared all along that our bank has been rather creative with things in holding the money. They took creativity to a new level today, which I thought was a great way of doing it, because they want to comply with the SBA's 10-day guarantee for disbursement. So they don't have to disperse the whole thing. So they're dispersing $100 to us, okay? So that they've issued the loan within 10 days. The first part of it, and starting the clock on that $100, and will disperse the rest to us later. I thought it was an ingenious idea. They had actually offered to do either 100% of the loan, 50% of the loan, or the $100 just to write the loan. And I thought that was ingenious to comply with it. So that is moving forward. Okay. And it will refund, I expect, next week. The EIDL is also getting the economic... Hey, Jerry, I didn't see you sneak in here. Welcome, Jerry Talvich. Great to have you with us, with all of us. The Economic Injury Disaster Loan, EIDL. A lot of news about that being shut down, and that's a lot playing politics, okay? So they have shut it down to new applications. They are still actively processing and funding applications that are in process. I had several that I'm tracking. I've been in the tracking business on this, and there are one of the ones that I'm tracking that I was hoping would go to funding this week is actually going the beginning of next week. They have moved today in the closing process, and the SBA has moved them along, and they will close next week. So things are still moving. They are funding that. It's not getting news media. So don't run out to your news media with it, because I don't think they want people to know. But the applications that are in, they are still processing funding, and they are working on them. So those are moving forward. Keep an eye out for the email that will ask you to click and establish an account. Again, I apologize for not getting things posted today. That'll be my Saturday morning project, where I get this posted. I'll catch up on all the things I promised to post the last couple days tomorrow morning before I start making calls. So I will catch up on all of that so that you have those as an example. But keep an eye out for that email from the SBA telling you to create your account and move forward with it. Eric, you're probably middle to end of next week. I forget where you are on my loan number list. I forget if I have your loan number. If I don't have your loan number, Eric, message me your loan number and I can give you a better idea. I'm thinking next week, because I think you got the next part of that. I think you got the email, didn't you? That asked you to create your portal. If you got the email to create your the portal and complete the application, if you got that email, you'll probably close next week. If not, send me your loan number and I'll add it to my list, and I'll be able to give you a better idea. My list isn't unscientific. Okay, my list is unscientific, but it's holding pretty true, and it really excited me today when I got the call from one of the people that I've been working with since early on, and she was so excited to let me know that she had just hung up with the loan officer at the SBA and things were moving forward, and she was, beyond excitement. So it was really exciting to have that story to share. And it made me feel better because I didn't think I was actually going to get that kind of feedback. That's the feedback that I was expecting, but I didn't expect it till next week. Because of the news media yesterday, I expected a lot of shutdown at the SBA from a public thing because it's politics. It's all about politics. It's about people jockeying for programs that are important to them. It's about people. It's about people that are jockeying for what's important to them. It's about people that are obstructionists, people that are stopping to stop fraud. You got to keep in mind, there's no such thing as a perfect government program. We could have spent years planning this. 10 years ago, we could have planned this out. For when the pandemic hits, we want to have this program that can support every business in America. Okay, and we could have spent 10 years planning it. It would still not be perfect. Okay, they are doing the best they can with a horrific situation, and I'm glad that we have such phenomenal people in there doing it. They really are. They care. They know what this is doing to small business and what it's doing to Main Street, and they really do care. There's also going to be some new grants coming out in the next couple of weeks that are actually being funded with government money. The government's getting out money to all these regional agencies that are specifically targeted for small business and what you and I would consider small business, not even though the 500 and under employees, this is more our size of Main Street business. These aren't going to be necessarily huge grants. Some of them will be as little as probably $500. Some of them will be as much as maybe $10,000. But it is to get money out in their communities, and agencies within your communities will do that. And I will have more information as that becomes available. But I got that. If you've got the email and you got a login, there's another email that comes before you get a loan officer. So there's an email that comes that says, create a new login account to complete your loan processing. If you've gotten that email to create that is the next step in the process. Then you hear from a loan officer, and they are calling from what I'm getting told, and the business I talked to today did get a call like that, and so things are moving forward. And quite honestly, the wait times for a real person at the SBA, if you call into the usually 800 useless number, and the reality of customer service is getting better with the SBA. I've been getting continued reports on that. Jennifer, you'd be surprised at what qualifies as a small business. It's a tough one, legislating that, because I've been frustrated by that very thing. What is a small business? Is it the $1 million company that employs 2 people? Is it the business that's doing $100,000 a year that employs 5 people? It's interesting how small business gets defined. It is kind of really interesting, and I've had there's different pros and cons of that. I've known small businesses that, sales isn't reflective of profit or payroll too, so I've worked with businesses that had millions of dollars and in sales, small payroll, small net profit. So it's interesting. And so the EIDL will not officially be replenished. If your application is in, you should be fine. Okay, if you have an application out, okay, for the EIDL, you should be fine with the EIDL. I don't expect it to be accepting new applications under the guidance that I received today until probably early next month, because they're using it as a jockeying standpoint, and that's completely wrong. I'm not disputing that, and I hope they get out of their way on that. But from the information I'm being told, there's complete acceptance to properly fund the PPP. And even though the EIDL is somewhat doesn't need funding from that, it gets its funding elsewhere. They're keeping that shut to play political blame games. And I'm not very happy or excited if that's what really happens. So one of the other things going on in retail right now that I just thought I'd mention is the concept of what are being called dark stores. And it's expected that there's going to be more dark stores under this new definition in the new economy. And whether that falls out true to be or not, we'll have to wait and see what reality is. And what they call dark stores are they define dark stores as local fulfillment centers converted from formerly shopper-populated stores. With widespread stay-at-home orders in place, retailers are voluntarily turning the lights out at some locations to accommodate growing online demand. Whole Foods, for example, has converted at least 2 locations, one in New York City and one in LA, to dark stores this past week. Several other supermarket chains, including Giant Eagle and Kroger, are presently operating temporary or what will become permanent dark stores. It's an interesting concept. It's happened in some of the warehouse space previously. You've seen some of the old Sam's Clubs that were closed to become fulfillment centers, online fulfillment centers for Walmart and such. So it's an interesting thing, and we'll have to see how that develops over time. But that was one of the news items of today. What else do I got here for you? I've got some interesting things coming up this weekend about growing your business, because we have to talk about the debt that's coming out of this and how to grow your business. So we're going to talk about that over the weekend some, especially if it's a slow news weekend, which is what I'm predicting. I predict more whining and stuff about the PPP and just saber-tooth rattling over that, which will give us some time to talk about how we grow our businesses out of this. And I've got some topics on that for the weekend. I will, of course, be returning your calls this weekend. I have a bunch of people in queue, but there's always room for you. Should you need a call to discuss your personal situation and your numbers, just reach out. It's Neil, N-E-I-L, at ECIstores.com. That's Neil, N-E-I-L, at ECIstores.com. I'm here live every night at 8 p.m. Eastern in the NARTS Facebook group live. You can catch the replays at narts.org/resalestrong or directly on the YouTube channel. You're not alone running this store. From our Good Morning, Good Night book. Our good morning, for those of you that were not here at the top of the show, good morning. Untie just one of the knots in your stomach. Cross one thing off your list. Call one loved one and surprise them with some kindness. Damn, look all over the room. You made for something new, kid. Boom. Our good night tonight is good night. There are still knots in your stomach. Mine too. A good night's rest won't undo them completely, but it loosens the grip and softens the strands. Close your eyes and make room for something new, kid. Hey everybody, I am Neil Abramson. I do this every night at 8 o'clock Eastern, and I am here for you all the time to answer your questions, keep on top of the events that are happening, and bring you the most factual information that we have at the time. If you have a question about your specific situation, just reach out. It is Neil, Neil, at ECIstores.com is the best way to reach me. I will call you back, so make sure you include your area code and phone number and possibly your time zone so that I don't wake you up on the West Coast. If you get a call from a 508 number, it is from me. If you get a call from an 817 or an 800-366 number, that is your friends at the SBA. I suggest you take the call. Either way, I'll be back here again tomorrow night. Just remember that ultimately you, I knocked you over. You, and most especially you are not alone running this store. I'll see you all again tomorrow. Have a great night, everybody. It's dinner time.